Live. I want to hear from you about the life and legacy of John McCain, who has been a bit of a controversial figure. And I want to explain to you, after some of our calls, about what's going to happen next with his particular Senate seat, which is now left vacant. Let's hear from you. John in Manhattan wanted to weigh in. John, it's Laura. How are you? What do you want to say today?
Good morning, Ms. Coates. I basically wanted to say two things. Number one, I absolutely respect John McCain for the service that he put in, considering what he did back then, you know, launching off fighter decks and fighting at that time was kind of like rolling the dice with your life every single time you did it.
Yeah.
And I have that level of respect for him that I would never, ever diminish. As far as what he had to do to quiet these people in those rallies when they were saying racist things about Obama, what I have to say there is obviously he didn't want himself associated with that, even though the problem was he picked Sarah Palin, who was the one who brought anti-intellectualism to the table.
Oh, that's a kind way of saying it, John. I love it, though.
I could also say stupidity. But
no. I like anti-intellectualism. I like it. I'm going to coin that phrase. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, and this anti-intellectualism, the problem is with the voter themselves. It's been growing. Alex Jones is an example of it.
Yes.
Trump's election is an example of it. And the problem is nobody understands that political pendulum swings wildly back and forth. And once they pulled Sarah Palin out and made it so that someone like her even had a chance to run, they basically made it possible for Trump to win. And I have to wonder, you know, what will we have to deal with when the next president comes along? How much worse will the discourse be, regardless what side of the aisle they're on? The last thing I also wanted to say was, I find it amazing that at the twilight of his life, when he's about to die, the one thing on his mind is do not let that bastard come to my funeral. And by that bastard, I mean President Trump. So you're on your deathbed, and the last thing going to your mind is do not let the president come to my funeral. And it's funny because the media isn't talking about that at all right now. And I'm waiting to see what's going to happen, whether or not Trump is just going to sit it out or find some reason to fly to Russia or whatever in order to have an excuse as to why he's absolutely not there, when we already know that John McCain said, please do not let that bastard come to my funeral.
You know, hence the phrase, John, over my dead body.
Over my dead body.
I mean, really, it's there. Thank you for calling, John. I appreciate that, and for the phrasing that you used today. But it's true. That, remember, he specifically asked for Obama and George W. Bush to speak, both of whom I think have agreed to speak there. The President of the United States, apparently the White House drafted a statement on John McCain, but they never released it. There were several staff members who believed that they actually had an official White House statement, would actually have gone through. It had already been cleared. It was approved internally, but it was supposed to be released at the time of John McCain's death, but it never went through. And the president then spent Sunday at a Virginia golf course, and it never came out. And they thought, well, perhaps there'll be a televised statement, but the White House didn't make any plan to do a televised statement. And they still did not mention anything. The president instead opted to say, my deepest sympathies and respect go out to the family of Senator John McCain. Our hearts and prayers are with you. Yeah, that was a tweet that went out about it, as opposed to an actual official statement. Although other presidents, former presidents, other senators, Republican and Democratic, came out and said something, including Melania Trump, by the way. The First Lady said in a tweet, our thoughts, prayers, and deepest sympathy to the McCain family. Thank you, Senator McCain, for your service to the nation. Vice President Mike Pence also tweeted this out. Karen and I send our deepest condolences to Cindy and the entire McCain family on the passing of Senator John McCain. We honor his lifetime of service to this nation in our military and in public life. His family and friends will be in our prayers. God bless John McCain. And here's what the White House did today. He died on what? Was that Saturday? Saturday he died. The flags were flown at half-mast. Half-staff, excuse me. I always get that wrong. I always say half-mast. Why do I say half-mast? Is that correct? Or am I just saying something crazy? Crazy? Okay. I always say half mast, full mast. Well, they now are flying both full staff. After that very brief tribute to John McCain, they decided to raise the flag up again. First thing Monday morning, and there's no official proclamation from President Trump, as he has done, by the way, in the past for other notable figures that have been that have passed away. He'll be buried this coming Sunday in the cemetery on the grounds of the U.S. Naval Academy, and he will lie in state here in Washington, D.C., but still, they returned the flags to full staff. Okay, let's hear from you, 866-801-8255.